Hi everyone, welcome to Veronika. Today I'll show you how you can do a scarf in Tunisian crocheting style with my bobble cotton today, and I'm just trying this out myself with you guys, so I want to do kind of a basics video with you, and I want to make it accessible to beginners as well. I used my bobble cotton extra for today's project. And I want to say right away that this video is not going to be covering the entire scarf, so I'm just showing you the basics, so how you can do something like this on your own, and I'll show you how to get started and how to interpret written instructions to such projects as well. So we're not doing the whole scarf because that would simply take too long, so it would definitely be more footage than just one video. So this is kind of an introductory project, an introductory video. So if you would like to see more, feel free to comment below and I'll see what I can do for you. But this is specifically meant for beginners and people who would like to learn how to actually read written instructions for such bigger projects. So this is 800 meters per 200 grams or 875 yards and 7 ounces. I'm recommending the extra for beginners because the thread is really nice, and the scarf that I showed you I did in a regular bobble cotton, so both are definitely possible if you don't have too much experience. So if you're still pretty new to this, it might be a bit difficult because the thread is hard to differentiate when it's woven together like this, and the bobble extra is simpler because of its pretty specific structure and color pattern. So I used Tunisian crocheting needles or one needle, and I used a 5mm needle from my collection. On the back I have my line as well. I won't start with it because we're doing just a few stitches at first, but when they increase in their numbers later, so then we'll use the line. These also come in different lengths, of course, depending on the size of your project, so make sure to check that out. You can put a stopper at the other end of your line as well. So let's start on one side of it. I'll show you here the beginning that I already did. So we are doing additions on the right side. So you can see the right side of the edge kind of expanding, and on the left side, the edge stays straight. So let's get started. I'll always mark the number of the row so that you can rewind later if you need to. We are at 0 now, so I'm not counting this first base work as a row. I hope this is gonna make it easier for you in case you need to rewind later. So I recommend using a needle size 5mm, although the bobble actually recommends a bit less, so a bit smaller. So with Tunisian crocheting, you should always do a little bit bigger needles, so 1 to 2 sizes bigger, so that you get the looseness that's actually the whole point of this. So let's start with 3 chains. We can lightly turn then and from the back side. So I hope you can see it nicely. So from the second and first stitch, we take a new loop onto the needle. So we should have 3 loops on the needle now, and we can cast them off. So take your thread and go through the first one, then through the other 2 as well, but this time I'm always pulling the thread through 2 loops instead of 1. At the end of the row, we get our additions. So here we are doing 2 more chains. And now we start row 1. So first let's take a loop out of the first stitch, the closest one to the needle. Here you find the side loops that you see here, always on the side, and we do new stitches out of it. That was 2, and the last one is the edge stitch, so I go through both loops and take the thread through. So now I have 5 loops on my needle at the end of row 1. So this was the beginning loop, this was out of the chain, this one out of the knit stitch below, and this one out of the actual base stitch, and this out of the edge stitch. And now we go back, and that's always going to be the same, once through one loop and then always through 2 at a time. And then we are again doing an addition, but this time just 1. Okay, row 2 is incoming. So the loop on the needle is the first stitch, the second one comes out of the edge stitch. So I added 1 stitch, this was the edge stitch before, and now we have the extra one. And now let's take 1 loop out of each stitch we see, so just like before. And the edge stitch is here, there we go through 2 loops at a time. Then we go back, first through just the 1, and then always through 2 loops till the other end. At the end of the second back row, we again do 2 chains, and that's our 2 additions. Row 3, so the first stitch is out of the first chain, and then the next one out of the edge stitch. The edge stitch was here, and now it's here, so we added 2 loops. And now we again start new stitches out of each one I come across. And we go back, first 1 chain, then through 2. Then another chain, then another one through 2, and then through 3 loops at once. And then 2 loops, 2 loops, 2 loops, till the end. And that's how we finish the third back row. And I also gotta do additions, so I'll do 2 chains because we're adding 2 more this time. You can already see the width increasing rapidly. Row 4, so out of the first chain comes the first stitch and the next one out of the edge stitch, just like before. So here are the 2 additions. And now we start new stitches out of existing ones. Here I've got 2, so that's where I did the 3 loops at once. I get the doubled stitch in this row, so I'm going through both at once again. Then comes one singular one, and then here I did a chain in the last row. So there I'll go under the chain, like this, so that I get the first hole in my pattern. Then I have here one side stitch and then the edge stitch. One single loop when going back, then through 2 followed with a chain. Then 3 times through 2 loops at a time. Once through 3 loops and again 3 times 2 at a time. At the end, we add just 1 stitch. And then we do row 5, so the first stitch out of the edge stitch, so just 1 addition this time, and then new loops out of old ones. Again, we will have the doubled ones, so that's where we did the 3 loops as 1, so that's how we actually reduce a stitch at a time. So here are 3 singular ones, and then comes the chain, so I again go around. And this chain should actually balance the reduced stitch here, so then we can finish. Fifth back row, 1 chain, then 2 loops, followed by another chain, and then 5 times 2 loops at a time. Now these 2 again together, so 3 loops as 1 and 2 times 2. And we again add 2 stitches. Row 6, the first stitch comes out of the first stitch or first chain. And you definitely gotta do it loosely because otherwise you'll have trouble going through like I just did. The next stitch out of the edge stitch, so that's again the 2 additions. And now we are again doing new stitches out of existing ones. If you again have them doubled, you again do them together. The singular ones you do as they are. Under the chain and finish up. Now the back row starts again with a chain, then thread through 2 loops and another chain. Through 2 and through 3. Again through 2 and through 3. And again through 2, 1 chain, 2 and through 3. And another chain and 2 go together. And at the end, again 2 chains for the additions. Row 7 is again out of the chain, then out of the edge stitch. Now comes a chain and the 2 that I did together. And then 1 singular one and again a chain. A single one, then we will have the doubled, then a single one and another doubled. So here I am, I pulled through the 2, and here in the front of the row we did them as 3 loops at once. Anyway, then I have 1 single stitch, and then here under the chain we go through, and we finish with 1 single and 1 edge stitch. And we can always count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 and 15 stitches on my needle. Row 7 is missing its back row, so now we will be starting with 1 loop through. Then through 2, chain, and again through 2. Then through 3 and 2 and again 3 and 2. Then a chain and a thread through 2 and once through 3. Then a chain and we go 3 times through 2 loops. And now comes row 8. At the end we do just 1 chain as the addition, so just 1 this time, and then because of that I'll go through the edge stitch as my first stitch. Then 2 single ones, then a chain to go under, and then the 2 that I did as 1. One singular one followed by a chain. single one, then I go through 2, then again a single one and through 2. Again a single, and then here a chain and one single one, and the last one is the edge stitch. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 stitches. So I had 15 before and I added one more. Now comes the back row, so we do the one first, then through 2. Then a chain followed by 2 done as 1. One chain and once through all 3 loops. Then once through 2, then through 3. And now through 4 loops. Then a chain and 3 times 3. And then a chain. Sorry, a chain and 2 times through 2. At the end of row 8, I'll add 2 more stitches. Row 9, we start out of the first chain and then out of the edge stitch. Then comes a single one and then a chain. Then 3 single ones and then a chain. Now here the 3 loops, so that's where we actually did 4 in our last row. Then 2 loops and then I did the 3 together in the last row. Then comes a single one and then again 2. A chain and a single one, a chain, another single, and the edge stitch. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18 stitches. So before I had 16, I added 2, so that makes the 18. Oh, sorry, here we have the back row that we need to do. So 1 single to start with, then through 2, a chain, and 3 times through 2. Chain, and now 4 loops as 1. There they are. So once through 2, 1 chain, again through 2. And then through 3. through 2 and through 3. Two and a chain, and then 2 times through 2, and at the end here we will again do 2 chains as additions. Row 10. Now make sure you're really loose with the chains here. I'll fix mine. And out of the first one we do our addition, out of the edge stitch as well. And then comes one single stitch that gets a new one. Here under the chain, a single one through 2. One single one through 2. After a single under the chain and through, then a single one, and then we have 3 that we did together in the last row as 4. Then under the chain, then 3 single ones. Under the chain and again through, 1 single and the edge stitch. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So again, 2 more that we just added in our last back row. Now we go back with 1 single loop through, then once through 2, then a chain, then 5 times through 2. Chain and once through 3, through 2, and again 3. Once 2 and again 3, then once through 2 and 1 chain, and 4 times through the 2. At the end of row 10, we add just 1 chain, not 2. The first stitch out of the edge stitch, then 3 single ones. Chain and a single one, then 2 together, 1 single, again 2 together and 1 single. Two together now, 1 chain and 5 single ones. Chain and a single and the edge stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And the one chain that we added, so a total of 21. Now we go back with one chain. Through 2, again a chain, then once through 2, then through 3, through 2, through 3 and 2 again, chain and through 2, through 3 and then 2 and once again 3. Chain and 2, chain, five times 2. And at the end we add 2 stitches. One out of the first edge and then 5 singles. And then we have the chain and then a single one. Another chain and 2. Single, 2, single, a chain, single and 2, single and 2, single, a chain, single and the edge stitch. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22 and 23. Back we start with 1, then 2, then a chain, then again through 2, and once through 3 loops. Then 2, 3, and again 2. Then a chain, 2, and the 4. Then the chain and 3 times 2. Chain 4 times 2 then. Then 1 chain and once through 3 and once through 2 loops. At the end we add 2 stitches, 2 chains, through the first chain, through the edge stitch, 2 loops together and under the chain and through. 3 single ones, a chain, then 1, 2, and 3 singles, followed by a chain, then the 3 that I did as 1 in the last row, then a single, then the chain and the single one, then the 2 done together, then a single, 2 again, after the 2, again a single, a chain, and a single one, and the edge stitch. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25, and I think you got a little overview of how it works. So now you can follow any written instructions that go on. I just wanted to show you how you can do something like this. So when you have the instructions, it's of course a lot easier. It would be too long for just one video to do the whole scarf with you. Maybe I can do it in parts, but anyway, I just wanted to show you how you can do this in Tunisian crocheting. So I hope you guys like the way we did this. Feel free to post any comments in the comment section below the video. That way I can hear your feedback, maybe some wishes for future projects, or even tips and tricks from you. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!